Hi guys, welcome back. What I want to do is share with you yet again a few items from my mum's mixed media pile. I'm currently still got family issues. They're improving, no end, but at present moment still hanging away from the journaling. So mum has very kindly given me the opportunity to share a few more mixed media pieces that she's done in her collection. She's done a few workshops. She has done a lot of sitting in guilds throughout her life, so she branches out into mixed media, textiles, and so I just want to share just some of the work that we've got here. We've got lots of things that are paper, strips of paper, just little shapes. As you can see here, this is a leaf shape here out of just some recycled paper. Lots of what mum uses is basically recycled in every format, with acrylic paint mostly added, and then you've just got different variations on mark making when it comes down to using a brush. You can see here's the back end of the brush just being put into the paint and then maybe just scratched along the surface. Now the general gist of what you see here, these are pages that she wanted to turn into a journal, and they're on a nature theme, so she has scraped away the paint, and this is why you've got the autonomous style of colours. We've got different tissue papers, lots of layering going on, and there's nothing of any great wealth or expense here, and some of the pages are blank at the back, mostly for journaling. Got a lot of magazine pages here that have just been glued down together. Got some writing, and then she's done some line drawing just to emphasise certain areas. There's been a leaf that's been printed and rolled down. You've got a piece of tissue paper that's been made out to look like a leaf by having the lines defined in a pen. And then we've got one here that is still, I would say, work in progress. You can see the tissue, and it's just been used acrylic paint, and different styles, bits and pieces are put down, much like a jelly plate, to act as a resist. So there are a journal in the making, a mixed media journal. I'm not too sure how she's going to go about it, but that is work in progress. And then we've got this style of journal. It comes with a little cover, which is cardboard, which has just literally been bent back. It has this metal embellishment, and it's been stamped with a Journey of the Heart. And this is fabric and all different styles of papers. So again, she's just done a colour wash on the outer edge of this cardboard that has just literally been curved and bent, and it's got this little metal embellishment, much like a file folder. And we've got this journal here that has got all these wonderful decorative buttons, which she's just basically, she hasn't sewn in like a pamphlet stitch. She's literally, where the buttons are, is sewn in straight into the signature, and that's what holds this journal together. On the front we've got a lot of texture paste going on, and this is texture paste and then reapplying a wooden stamp straight into the texture paste. Lots of different styles of acrylic paint just thrown onto this upholstery material, so just 100%, as you can see, a really dense weave, and she's just built up different layers of texture and left the fibres on the outside edge rather raw. We've got some more gesso here with a bit of acrylic paint and stamping going on to make these New Zealand N's and Z's. This relates to her trip to New Zealand, so it's like a little bit of a travelogue after she visited. So we've got maps that she's incorporated, and she has done some stamping. These are like the images that she felt that inspired her from her trip to New Zealand, and then she's used machine sewing to stitch around. And she's also made a bit of a fatal mistake, but it's, you know, fun and part and parcel of the experience. This journal is a little bit back to front, upside down, but that just adds a little bit of character to it. So yet again, you can see here more like a Hessian sack that she's used here, and more textured paste going on. Just random acrylic paints, nothing extra special. You can see the back where it's just been left, and this would be like the texture paste coming through onto the Hessian sack. Then we've got layered papers going on with more stitching. This is just an upcycled or recycled envelope. Now we've got tissue paper, we've actually got magazine underneath, so we've got some text underneath, tissue paper which has got this pastel colours applied over the top, and then machine sewing. And as you can see, we've got a little piece of trapped fabric, we've got magazine pages, tissue paper, all just covering the back of this envelope, ready for something to be tucked in. And this really is a lovely page of, I believe she went to a museum. I apologise, she did tell me, it has literally escaped me. And so this, you can see, is some of, I think this is actually a photograph that she's actually cut round with a pair of fancy scissors and taken little elements out, and then done in her own style, brought a bit out onto this page. So you've got some paint there, you've got like a wax resist going on. More fabric, just fabric strips here that she's sewn on the back of that envelope flap. Some stenciling, and then we've got more fabric. We've even got something that looks like you would do your embroidery, a bit of cross stitch going on there. More of the Hessian sack and the textiles, more stamping and more pamphlets from her visit to New Zealand. And this was done after the event, so this wasn't like she's not a heavy writer. She will write notes, but she doesn't tend to literally write her journey down. You tend to get it in a much more mixed media style, like so. We have another map, more stenciling that's been applied, and as you can see, this I think is where I need to rotate the journal, because it all slightly, it got a little skew with. It's hard to say which is the back, which is the front. We've got more stamping here of New Zealand. She tells me that this is like a figure that she had seen, and this is her representation of some of the Maori styles of tattoos and artwork that they actually cover their bodies with at the time. We've got some glimmer mist here going on, and we've got a resist. She was playing around with resists at the period of time and stamping. We've got brown paper, and that's just had more glimmer mist and acrylic paints applied, and we've just got this little piece of terracotta that's been trapped in there by sewing it onto the paper. On the back we've got fabric, and as you can see she's done some hand stitching and brought out some of the elements, and a little bit of stamping again with little squares. We have some like mulberry paper that's got a resist, and this then moves on to inks. And I love also the fact that it all, if you look at this, none of the pages, they don't match, they're not all cut to fit, they are just in the same colour hue. She's tried to work along that way to make it complementary, but in reality it's just little bits that she's found and worked into this journal. So we've got the fabric that looks as if it's had a form of tie-dyeing, but that's probably just the mopping up of the inks that she was using during the workshop. More sewing and another little bit of the beach, and some, I would imagine that's some cave art. We've just got some tags that she's just put inside, and this looks like it's on vellum. And I'll poke that back in. More of the brown paper that's just been really, you can even see where it's been scrunched up prior and then just hand flattened. I wouldn't say it's necessarily been ironed and then machine sewn. More card with a resist and glimmer mist. And then we've got, Mum explained that this is more than likely a clear plastic bag that has just been ironed onto some tissue paper, which has got this trapped piece of copper wire, just some thin wire trapped in there, back to her stencil, and also a little bit of more acrylic paint, just to so you can see the plastic shining through, but a surface that could be written on or more work could be placed, and more stamping. And inside we've got some trapped brown paper, so she just literally used it as a little sandwich, so plastic, tissue paper, brown paper, and then stamping with acrylic over the top. More of the resist, but this is on cardboard, a thin cardboard, but it's just got inks and a little resist. More wash here with some glimmer mist. And then we've got some chiffon fabric here with more inks and stamping. Now we've got a map that's been trapped underneath this loose weave cheesecloth, which yet again has had some acrylic paint applied to it. The map trapped inside, and then some machine sewing over the top for interest. Tissue paper again with details, writing you can see, so she likes to trap her work. Back yet again, if I rotate it round, I did say it all got a little bit higgledy-pickledy. You can just see in the background a couple here. More machine sewing. A little bit more of the beautiful chiffon that's been stamped on. More of a glimmer mist and some stamping, and you can see the ends for New Zealand. I'm not too sure if the Zs have disappeared or if they're there at all. Back to the resist, back to the plastic that's been backed onto tissue paper with more of the brown paper, then onto the fabric, which has literally been hit with a little bit of texture paste, more stamping but done as a resist, and then we come to the back cover, front or back. It's hard to say with this particular journal, but all in all, that's what I wanted to share with you today, and I would love to hear your feedback. Anyway guys, take care and speak to you soon. Bye bye.